The sun always seemed a little too perfect over Maplewood Estates. Like the HOA had passed a rule about it. White picket fences gleamed. Lawns sat at the exact 2-inch height mandated by Section 4.2 of the Covenants. And every mailbox matched the approved shade of colonial beige. I, Claire Benton, 32, had lived here long enough to know the peace was fake. I worked as a designer downtown. Steady paycheck. Nothing flashy. But it was mine until the phone call started 3 years ago. Dad's voice cracked over the line the same way it had after his warehouse accident. Claire, honey, the HOA dues, they're killing us. Mom had lost her part-time gig the same month. Disability checks barely covered groceries. And those monthly $800 assessments from Karen Whitaker, our beloved HOA president, might as well have been rent. Karen. Oh, Karen. She ran every meeting like a queen holding court in the community clubhouse. Pastel cardigan buttoned to the throat. Smile sharp enough to cut grass. We're all family here in Maplewood. She'd coo while slapping $50 fines on anyone whose trash can sat an inch outside the approved zone. She loved me. Though, publicly. Claire is the model resident, she'd announce. Microphone in hand. Always pays on time. Always volunteers. The backbone of our little community. I became the backbone because I had no choice. Every first of the month, that $800 vanished from my account so my parents wouldn't face liens. Bonuses, tax refunds, freelance gigs at night, all funneled straight into HOA compliance. My Seattle job offer? Gone the week Dad's appeal was denied. My boyfriend, Daniel, lasted 2 years before he said, I can't build a future with someone who's married to her parents' fines. I smiled, told him I understood, and handled it. My sister Lily, 28, was the star. Full ride, grad school in communications. Instagram full of conference selfies while I canceled dates for overtime. You're so stable. Claire, she'd say during her rare visits. Scrolling through her phone. I just couldn't handle all that HOA drama. The family script was written in stone. Claire handles things. Lily becomes things. I watched my house fund shrink from $45,000 to 4 figures while Lily collected degrees and Karen collected praise. Every time I dropped off groceries, Dad would mutter, "This isn't how it's supposed to be," but he'd still take the bags. Mom would squeeze my hand and whisper, "We don't know what we'd do without you or Karen's understanding." Karen's understanding came with strings. She'd wave at me in the driveway. Keep being our good girl. Claire, while her daughter posted from Europe on the same stipend, I was secretly subsidizing through my parents. 3 years. 36 months of being the reliable one. The one who never complained when Karen added new rules about holiday lights or mailbox height. I told myself it was temporary. Community takes care of community. That's what we do in Maplewood Estates. Then came the Tuesday morning call. Mom's voice trembled. Karen just posted on the HOA portal. They're enforcing the new compliance clause. 60 days, or the board can place a lien and sell the house at auction. Claire, what are we going to do? My stomach dropped. Columbus suburbs had exploded. Finding anything affordable was impossible. And with Dad's disability and Mom's record, no bank would touch them without me co-signing another financial noose. I stared at my laptop that night, scrolling listings, and the insane idea hit. What if I stopped throwing money at dues and actually bought them a real house inside the neighborhood? Interest rates were decent. My credit was still golden from years of perfect HOA payments. The monthly mortgage might even be less than the dues I was hemorrhaging. It took 3 days to talk myself off the ledge and another week to run the numbers 40 different ways. Savings at $15,000. Not great, but FHA loans existed. I started house hunting in secret, driving neighborhoods on lunch breaks, marking addresses while dodging Karen's patrols. Evenings were spent calculating taxes. imagining my parents' faces when they'd never worry about another violation notice again. Then I found it. 447 Maplewood Drive, a 1960s three-bedroom ranch with mature trees and kids on bikes. Needed updating, but the bones were solid. Inspection clean. The elderly seller accepted my offer below asking. The mortgage process was hell. Every document triple-checked because Karen's board loved to review anything that might affect property values. My boss at the firm noticed I was distracted. But how do you explain you're buying a house for your parents inside the HOA prison? Closing day in early May. Hands shaking. I signed my name dozens of times. $1,547 a month for 30 years. But it was mine. Ours. That evening, I placed the keys on Mom's kitchen table. I have a surprise. Mom burst into tears. Dad stood, ignoring his back, and hugged me. This is we don't have words. Sweetheart, Lily drove down that weekend, squealing through the rooms. My sister, the homeowner, she posted photos immediately, already claiming the big spare room as her weekend retreat. Moving day was chaos and laughter. Dad directed from a lawn chair. Mom unpacked while talking paint colors that would need HOA approval. Of course, I took the smallest bedroom without argument. That night on the back porch, watching my parents smile for the first time in years, I felt pure pride. I'd done this. I'd saved them from the HOA Karen machine. Thank you, Claire. We'll find a way to pay you back. Don't worry, I said. Community takes care of community. If only I'd known some community members had very different definitions. 7 days. That's all the time I got before the Instagram story shattered everything. I was in the break room scrolling when Lily tagged me. Heart rate spiked the way it always did when my sister remembered I existed. The photo hit like a slap. Lily standing in front of 447 Maplewood Drive, keys dangling, blazer perfect, smile nuclear. Caption, dreams do come true. Officially a homeowner at 28. Thank you, Mom, Dad, and the community for making this possible. HOA approved and blessed. New chapter, Maplewood Estates. 73 likes already. Comments poured in. OMG, your parents are the best. You deserve this queen. My salad threatened to come back. I called Lily. Voicemail. Call Mom. She answered on the fourth ring. Voice oddly polished. Hi, sweetheart. How's work? What's this post? A pause. Oh, that. We need to talk. Can you come by after work? Come by? To the house I was paying for? I laughed like breaking glass. Claimed sudden illness. And drove straight there. Dad's car in the driveway. Lily's Civic with the Ohio State sticker. They were waiting like a stage play. I used my key. Hand shaking so badly it took 3 tries. They sat in the living room I just furnished. Mom and Dad on the couch. Lily in the armchair. Phone in hand. Before you say anything, Dad started, using his old supervisor voice. You need to understand we did this for the family. Mom pulled out a folder. Legal documents. The deed, she said quietly. We transferred it to Lily's name. It's all legal. My blood turned to ice. What lawyer? Mr. Rodriguez. He handled it Wednesday. Wednesday. 2 days after I closed. You planned this. Lily finally looked up. Defiance mixed with fake shame. It makes sense for taxes. For my student loans. For, well, appearances. Mom added. Karen helped us understand the HOA angle. She said it was cleaner this way. Karen. Of course. The HOA president had helped. I leaned in. There was Marcus Rodriguez's signature. The same lawyer I'd paid $2,000 to handle my closing. The one Karen had personally recommended at the last board meeting as the best for family situations in our community. You use my lawyer, I whispered. Dad nodded. He said since the deed was in your name first. The transfer was a clean family gift. Lily showed her banking app. I already set up utilities in my name. I'm going to be responsible. With what money? I snapped. You're on a stipend. That's why I needed an asset, she shot back. You have your job, your stability. Everyone sees you as a successful one because you pay everything. This house changes things for me. I can leverage it. I kept reading. Mortgage still in my name. I carried the liability. Lily got the equity. The lawyer said it was better this way. Mom explained. You keep the tax deduction. I stood, legs steady. So I'm still paying for a house I don't own while you all live here, and Karen pats herself on the back for another successful community decision. Their silence was the answer. I headed for the door. Lily followed. Claire, we can work something out. Shared ownership. I turned. You already worked it out. Behind my back. With my money. With my lawyer. With Karen's blessing. You want to know what it's like to have nothing at 28? Try being 32 and realizing your own family saw you as nothing more than an HOA-compliant wallet with good credit. I spent the weekend in a hotel, ignoring 47 calls and twice as many texts. Monday, I walked into Brennan and Associates, real property lawyers, not Marcus's cozy HOA-friendly practice. Catherine Brennan's face hardened as I laid out the papers. Expertly done, she said. But there are angles. Your sister's federal student aid, unreported asset, IRS gift tax over $17,000. And since this is inside an HOA, the State Oversight Board might love to hear how President Whitaker facilitated a secret transfer without full board approval. That evening, I stared at the IRS Form 3949A. So simple, so final. I thought about 3 years of dues. Daniel leaving. The promotion I lost because I couldn't travel for conferences while defending my parents at HOA hearings. I thought about Karen's smiling face at every meeting. My finger hovered, then clicked submit on both the IRS and Department of Education complaints. I attached the deed. Lily's glowing Instagram post time-stamped 1 week after closing, and the mortgage still in my name. 2 confirmation numbers appeared. Then I called Ohio State Financial Aid. I'm concerned about potential fraud involving one of your graduate students. The woman sounded very interested when I mentioned the public post. Next, the Ohio Department of Taxation. Then the Franklin County Auditor for the reassessment trigger. Finally, the state HOA regulatory hotline. I have evidence the president abused her position to assist in a fraudulent transfer inside the community. Each call felt like lining up dominoes. Perfect position, waiting for the first push. Wednesday, I went back to work pretending everything was normal. Thursday, I answered Mom's text with I'm fine. Need space. Let them think the doormat was cooling off. Friday afternoon, the first domino tipped. Lily called 17 times. I let them go to voicemail until her text. What did you do? Ohio State just froze my funding. They're saying unreported assets. I replied with a single question mark and screenshot it from my folder. Saturday, Mom called. Lily got an IRS letter about gift taxes. Claire, did you file the legally required paperwork? Report fraud to the proper authorities? Handle things properly? You're destroying your sister's future. No, Mom. You all did that when you decided to commit fraud with Karen's help. I'm just making sure the authorities know. The next call was from Marcus Rodriguez. Voice shaking. Claire, we need to talk. No, we don't. Marcus, but you might want to talk to the state bar. I already filed the ethics complaint. He hung up. Tuesday brought more. Lily was suspended from her assistantship. The property tax bill arrived reassessed at full purchase price instead of the fake gift value. $3,200 due immediately. HOA violation notices started piling up too because the transfer hadn't gone through the Architectural Review Committee. Karen had conveniently forgotten that little rule while helping her friends. Mom texted, "How could you do this to us?" I replied, "I didn't. I reported the truth. If truth destroys you, what does that say about what you did?" By Wednesday, Lily had hired a lawyer. Mom and Dad had a tax attorney. The house that was supposed to be sanctuary had become a bomb. and I slept peacefully for the first time in 3 years, eating takeout in my hotel, because for once I wasn't the only one carrying consequences. The collapse accelerated. Thursday morning, Lily lost her grad position entirely. Email from Ohio State. Falsifying financial aid documents equals immediate dismissal. 3 years of work. Gone. She called sobbing. They won't let me defend my thesis. 3 years. Claire. Interesting number, I said calmly. That's exactly how long I paid the HOA dues you all treated like pocket change. This is different, is it? You had big plans. I had an ATM with good credit. Friday, the IRS penalty notice hit. $62,000 with interest and late fees. Lily showed up at my hotel looking wrecked. Hair messy, eyes swollen. Please call them off. Tell them it was a mistake. Was a mistake? Or exactly what you planned with Karen's blessing? She slid down the wall. The company withdrew their offer. No PhD programs will touch me. It's all gone. Actions have consequences. I know that now. You taught me when you posted that photo and call my house yours while I kept paying the mortgage. Dad called next. Social Security was reviewing his disability. They say the house looks like hidden assets. I could lose everything. You should have thought of that before you stole from me with Karen's help. Saturday, Karen herself called. Voice sweet as ever. Claire, darling, as president, I feel we can resolve this internally like family. I laughed. Family? The same family that used my lawyer, my money, and your HOA position to steal my house? Tell the board I'll see them at the next meeting. Monday, the state HOA Oversight Board confirmed they'd opened an investigation into President Whitaker for conflict of interest and misuse of authority. Tuesday, Lily's bankruptcy filing hit the local news. Graduate student loses everything in family HOA property scheme. The comments under her old post were brutal. Her friends turned instantly. Fraud is fraud. Poor sister who actually paid. Wednesday, exactly 3 weeks after that Instagram brag, Lily posted a rambling confession admitting the transfer, the non-reporting, tagging me with a public apology. It backfired spectacularly. Screenshots flooded financial aid forums. The Department of Education moved on criminal charges anyway. IRS liens hit the property. The mortgage company started foreclosure. And the HOA board called an emergency meeting. Thursday afternoon, Catherine Brennan called. Your family's lawyer reached out. They want to negotiate. Karen's facing ethics charges. Your sister federal counts. Your parents' benefits fraud. They're begging you to call off the reports. Tell them no. I could hear the smile in her voice. That's what I thought you'd say. 6 months later, the house at 447 Maplewood Drive went to auction. Foreclosure was swift thanks to 3 missed payments and multiple liens. An investor grabbed it for $180,000, a clean $15,000 loss from what I'd paid. Lily's bankruptcy made headlines. She moved back in with an aunt, working a call center for $15 an hour. Master's degree unfinished. Academic record permanently scarred. Dad's disability was revoked. He took a night security job, sitting in a booth despite the pain. Minimum wage. Mom aged overnight. Now stocking shelves at the same grocery chain she used to shop with my money. She sent one last email. I hope you're satisfied. I was living in Seattle by then. The senior position Sarah had mentioned was still open. Double the salary. Corner office with Mount Rainier view. I was dating James, a software guy who knew nothing about Maplewood Estates except that we didn't talk about it. The last I heard, my parents were back in a cramped apartment in a part of Columbus Karen would have sneered at. Lily's social media went dark after her confession post. Marcus Rodriguez was disbarred. And Karen Whitaker? Oh, that was the sweetest part. The emergency HOA meeting went viral. Residents who'd suffered her fines for years finally spoke up. You enforced grass height like it was the law, but helped steal an entire house, one neighbor shouted. Another waved printouts of the state investigation. Karen stood at the podium, pastel cardigan trembling, trying to smile that same queen smile. "We're all family here," the crowd booed. The vote to remove her as president was unanimous. She was reduced to a regular member, fined for the improper transfer she'd pushed through, and forced to repaint her own door the approved color after the architectural committee finally noticed. Black humor at its finest. The woman who ruined lives over mailbox stickers lost her throne because she forgot the real rules still applied when the money wasn't hers. Sometimes late at night, I think about that week in May when I handed over the keys. Mom crying what I thought was joy but was probably guilt. Dad hugging me knowing what they planned with Karen's help. Lily running through rooms already staging her Instagram victory lap. They had everything. A daughter willing to bleed for them. A house inside the perfect HOA neighborhood. Security bought with someone else's sacrifice. All they had to do was be grateful. All they had to do was be fair. Instead, they taught me the most valuable lesson of my life. Family isn't blood. It's respect. And when someone shows you they don't respect you, especially when that someone wears a pastel cardigan and calls herself president, believe them the first time. The house sold again last month. The investor flipped it. New kitchen. Fresh paint. No trace of the drama. A young couple posted, "Our dream home," on Facebook. I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just peace. I was still the responsible one. The stable one. The one who handles things. And I'd handle them exactly as they deserved. The mortgage stayed in my name long enough to ding my credit for 7 years. But it recovered. Their reputations, their relationships, their futures, those stayed, Ash. They gambled everything on the belief that I'd keep being their safety net even after they cut the rope with Karen's scissors. They lost. I haven't spoken to any of them since that Thursday when their lawyer begged. Lily tried LinkedIn last week. Something about healing. I blocked her without reading. Some bridges once burned should stay, Ash. Some neighborhoods once revealed should stay avoided. And some houses, no matter how much you sacrifice for them inside the strictest HOA in America, were never meant to be your home. Thank you for listening to my story. Drop a comment where you're watching from and tell me, what would you have done if an HOA Karen and her family stole the house you bought with 3 years of your life? Let's connect. Subscribe. And remember, the grass may be 2 inches tall, but justice cuts deeper. Wait, that was only 4 files? No. This is the seamless continuation and final 1,000 words wrapping the entire arc with every satirical beat and satisfying twist intact. After the auction, the neighborhood gossip exploded. Residents who once feared Karen's clipboard now openly mocked her at the mailbox. Remember when she fined me $50 for political stickers, but looked the other way on a $250,000 theft? One neighbor posted in the community app. Karen tried one last power move, calling an emergency meeting to discuss new enforcement of grass standards, but the board shut it down. She stood there alone, cardigan wrinkled, smile finally cracking as members voted to install cameras on the clubhouse just to watch her. The state oversight board fined the entire HOA for her misconduct, forcing every resident to pay a special assessment. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. The queen who loved fines finally got fined by her own kingdom. Black humor at peak. The woman who preached rules are rules discovered rules still bite when you're no longer the one writing them. Lily's confession post became a meme in student forums. How to lose your master's and your mom's HOA throne in one viral photo. She tried calling once more. Voice small. Claire, the IRS wants payment plans. I have nothing. You had my house, I replied. Now you have the consequences. Dad's new security job paid less than the dues I once covered. Mom's grocery store shifts left her too tired to fight. They moved into a 1-bedroom in a non-HOA part of town. No Karen to praise them. No rules to blame. The last text I received was from Mom. We never meant for it to go this far. Karen said it was legal. I didn't reply. Some apologies come too late after the dominoes have already fallen. In Seattle, my new life bloomed. Double salary, creative freedom, weekends without violation notices. James and I hike on weekends. No talk of dues or deed transfers. Sometimes I check the old HOA portal for nostalgia. Karen's profile now lists her as former president. Her posts are desperate, looking for community volunteers with 0 likes. The house on Maplewood Drive stands pristine under new owners. No trace of the betrayal that once lived there. I kept every screenshot, every confirmation number, every article, not for revenge anymore, just as proof that quiet endurance can flip into precision justice. The lesson stayed the same but sharper in HOA light. Respect isn't given because you pay the dues. It's earned by not stealing the house the dues bought. When someone shows you who they really are, especially when that someone wears an official HOA badge and calls herself family, believe them the first time. I handled things differently this time, and the entire Maplewood Estates learned that the model resident they praised for 3 years could also be the one who quietly burns the whole system down. No more sacrifices. No more smiling through fines. Just me, my corner office, and the quiet satisfaction of knowing that somewhere in Ohio, an entitled Karen is mowing her own lawn at exactly 2 inches while her empire of beige and betrayal sits in ashes. If this story hit you in the gut, comment below with your own HOA Karen horror story. I read every single one. Subscribe for more tales where the quiet one finally speaks. The power is exposed, and justice, sweet glowing justice, rolls through the cul-de-sac like a perfectly maintained lawn. See you in the next video. Stay compliant. Stay savage.